What is going on? Excuse me. First of all, it is amazing technology that we can just go live by holding a phone anywhere. As long as you have internet or you have Wi Fi, that is just unbelievable. Just technology. Let's just embrace that for a second. I know there's probably okay. There we go. Now we're getting some people on. So I was watching a couple of videos. I woke up nice and early today, and went for a nice ride. And obviously, when you go for a ride, you're kind of toilet. Can't even talk. That's really what it comes down to. No, you're kind of tired, but you have to embrace yourself throughout the day, just saying no, 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 I'm not tired, and things like that. But it really goes back to the post that I had this morning, and I started thinking about it, where I'm finally embracing who I am, which is someone that loves to read, that loves to wake up, that loves to bike, that loves to eat healthy. How is that supposed to be otherwise? You got a fan here. That's awesome. Thank you very much. This is the thing, is that I'm going to get very deep, like, right now. So you have who you are, okay? Okay. And really, who you are is a reflection of who you want other people to see you. You are not being you. You are being what other people want. You are being who you think other people want you to be. All right? And it goes even deeper. All right? So you are a reflection. You're not even you. You are a reflection. How do you learn how to sell? That's a whole video in of itself. There's so many books on selling. The first one is How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's the number one book. You have to go check that out, because if you have no empathy, you're not going to be able to sell. You're not going to be able to influence. Like there's a great book, Influence, by Robert Cialdini, I think is his name. If you don't have any empathy, if you're not talking to people, if you're not putting yourself out there, you cannot sell, you cannot influence, you cannot manage, you cannot lead, you cannot be any of those people. And actually that ties into the video, because there is a desperate need for authenticity, for vulnerability, for people that are actually who they are online, in person, and behind closed doors are the exact same person. There is a desperate need for that in this world. There's people that are unbelievable. They are exactly who they are online as they are in person, but behind closed doors, they eat like shit, or they're negative, or they have this like little dark secret. Listen, we always have How Do You Be a Good Leader? Listen, you got to read. You can't just learn to be a good leader. Listen, you got to read books by Simon Sinek, which is Leaders Eat Last. That's a great book. It's one. How do you become a good leader? That's impossible to say within a minute and a half. It's literally, you can't become a good leader if you can't lead yourself first. You have to lead yourself first. How do you lead yourself first? You have to develop yourself, be fine with yourself, put that out to the world authentically, and then followers or people will discover you. Okay? That's the biggest thing. When I started actually authentically being myself on YouTube, subscribers went from 500 to what it is now. And I'm not going off of that, but when I finally said I embrace self-development mindset and all of these little icky words that nobody wants to talk about, that's when people said, you know what? I'm exactly that way. Find your tribe. That's really what it comes down to. Find your tribe. Your tribe could be, there's a tribe out there. My buddy sent me an article. It's like people that dress up as like pink ponies every year. Guys that dress like once a year, they meet and they drink. Like, are you kidding me? There's like 20 people that do that, but they all found each other online, and then they meet up once a year and they have a big pink pony party or something. I forgot what the actual, it was out like in Seattle or something like that. Embrace yourself doesn't mean to, people say be yourself. Embrace yourself means be okay with the good and the bad. Okay? The bad where areas you want to improve. Areas you want to improve are the time you wake up, the negativity, your in-laws, maybe your body, maybe your finances, maybe your debt. These are things, I was watching a movie. You're being controversial. You're saying that we are who, isn't that? No, narcissism means that, I don't know the exact definition of narcissism, but the thing is, people are embracing what other people want them to be, okay? So you're not really being you, you're being what other people want you to be, number one. Number two is you're actually the reflection of who you should be and not who you want to be. That's a big difference. That's a massive difference. Someone that actually embraces self-development and someone that says, you know what, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to get my MBA, I'm going to become an attorney or an accountant or a doctor. I don't want to be. I actually want to be an engineer or a software developer or a real estate agent. But someone told me in my family, usually the parents, told me I have to be this person, okay? Then, as you grow older, you then resent them. You then resent your parents because you weren't able to embrace yourself. You're embracing what you like. You're embracing the weird things, the awkward things, the, nerdy things. When we're able to do that, and it's not going to be a long video. It's just I was on Instagram, and it's funny. The reason I'm bringing this all up is because when you're scrolling through and you actually know who someone is, there's this person that I recently met, awesome person. What job would you recommend to learn sales? There is no job to learn sales. You have to already be all right at selling, which is reading, getting into, if you want to get a good job in sales, become a bartender, become a waiter, become door-to-door sales. Just look up sales. There's plenty of sales jobs. That's probably the hardest position to actually fill in any company is sales because nobody likes rejection. They take it personally. They think if you're not buying their copier or their alcohol or their product or their service, it's them. You say, okay, why didn't you buy me? I didn't add enough value. Okay, great. Let's change the ask. Let's change the product and then push it back out there. Or as they say in lean startup is you just put out the least viable product. Just put out the least viable product. Just put up the website, see how it goes. If it doesn't go well, then you adjust. I adjust all the time. And I'm not saying, oh, let's pat Charles on the back. I am just coming around to this at 32 years old to finally embrace the quirky things, the nerdy things, the self-development people you'd recommend to follow or learn from. It really depends. If you're talking about authors, there's so many. Is the main reason why people don't buy is because they don't trust you or your product? Trust is part of it. There has to be an emotional connection towards the product. Otherwise, you're going to compete on price. That's it. You're going to compete on price unless they say, actually, I really like this brand. This brand makes me feel free or alive. When I say these brands, what comes to your mind? Coke, Pepsi. When people say that to me, I think sugar water. When other people hear that, they say, oh, okay, actually, I really like that. I remember when I was at my first ball game and I had a Coca-Cola, like Apple. Yeah, what emotions arise from it? You get to the emotions based on the story that you tell. The story that you tell is all revolving around your brand. What's your brand? Is your brand the lowest price there is? And if it is, that's going to be tough because you're going to consistently compete on price. There's a lot of people in real estate that are competing on price and they're going out of business. Nice to see you live. Yes, of course. Thank you very much. Love the videos. I'm just going to leave you guys with this. Going into this summer, I don't know if you're single. I don't know what your financial status is. I don't know what your job, status is or anything else. Is that start embracing not only yourself, because that's such a wide spectrum. Embrace the quirky, weird, nerdy things. You know, Irwin's a perfect example. Irwin's now posting about, writing or reading books. That's amazing. That's tough because what happens? People judge. And when they judge, they comment. And when they comment, you don't feel like you're in the tribe anymore. And when you don't feel like you're in the tribe anymore, there's an innate desire to then get back into the tribe. How do I get back into the tribe? How do I get accepted back into the tribe? What do I need to do? How do you accept me? That's the two things why we don't do anything. Number one is that we don't think we're good enough. I chose to publish my book knowing it wouldn't be perfect. Exactly. Just ship it. Just ship it. Just send it out. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Or as what's his name says, it's the resistance. Oh my gosh. Stephen Pressfield calls it the resistance. It's the resistance because it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Not everyone is going to like it. You're going to get 1 out of 5 stars on Amazon. It's just going to happen. You should sometimes pay attention to people judging. So we should sometimes pay attention to people's judging. Listen, if we're talking about judging, it's a very interesting subject. I was actually thinking of making an entire video about it because what you judge other people by is an insecurity that you have. So if you judge people on their clothing, you're looking at your clothing. If you judge people on their haircuts, you might have an insecurity towards it. Whatever you look at other people is something that you pay attention to yourself. If it's someone's weight, if it's someone's teeth, if it's someone's mindset, if it's someone's money. How crazy is that statement I just said? So next time you see someone, see what you focus on. Do you focus on their shoes, their body, their height, their smile, their attitude, their mindset? What job do they have? Their status, their followers? If someone came up to me and they said, I have 2 million followers, I'd be like, all right, cool. You say that in LA, someone says, what, really? How'd you get that? Let's collaborate. It's all about what you focus on, all right? So, and the reason I'm bringing this up, are you Russian? The reason I'm bringing this up is because there is a desire for people to fit in, number one. Number two is we don't feel good enough as we are. You're consistently seeking approval. Approval in food. Not true. I try to avoid characters that relay to me. I don't know what that means. You're going to have to come back on that again. We're seeking approval on things that will make us feel good enough. We're seeking approval through friends, through money, through fame, through acceptance, our parents accepting us, society accepting us, Instagram, YouTube, social media. We're seeking how do you attract people? Listen, how to win friends and influence people. We're going to say that about judging. Your 2 videos look Russian characters. Yeah, I would say the number one thing is what are we consistently chasing and what approval are we seeking? Those are the 2 questions that we should be asking because that is actually us not embracing ourselves. I would be seeking other people's approval by the way I dressed, the tags on my jeans. Thoughts on breaking up with someone due to circumstances not working out, even if you love them. Listen, you just fall. The easiest way is, there's this girl that rejected me at the gym. Excuse me. So it's just a lack of chemistry. It's a lack of chemistry. Who cares? I shouldn't say that, all right? Yes, it sucks, and you're probably going to think about them a lot because you had a relationship for a certain amount of time, and to be honest, the only way to get out of a breakup, the best way to get out of a breakup is get really fucking busy. Just get busy. Just start making plans. Just make plans everywhere. Go away. Start reading. Go to the gym. Work more. Just get your mind off of it. Because when you have more free time, you think about it. And when you have more free time, that's terrible. That is absolutely terrible when you have more free time. You get nothing done. I know so many people that are in between jobs and they get nothing done because all they're doing is nothing. They're not doing anything at all. So you're thinking about it, it's like, oh, okay, great. You have more free time, yet you're doing absolutely nothing. It's that cliche of, give it to a busybody and they'll get it done. One of the best choices I made was go straight to the gym. If you better yourself, there's that quote out there, which is nothing's a better something than massive success. Nothing is a better, whatever the heck it is. Someone give me that quote. Nothing could really stick it to someone like massive success. There is nothing better than coming out of a breakup. You go to the gym, you look better, you start getting either more money, you start posting really cool things because you're reading books. And I'm not saying to make them jealous, but the best revenge, that's what it's called. The best revenge, what's going on, Chris? The best revenge is massive success. How many years do you think it'll take now, where you are now for an average person? It took me 10 years, but I didn't have YouTube. I didn't have audiobooks. I had regular books, and I'm dyslexic. So it takes me long to read things. That's why I like audiobooks. That's why I like YouTube, because I can listen very well. I can clearly see someone's vision, and I can just crush through it. And I could skip ahead as well. You could always go back. You could skip ahead. The book I'm reading right now is by Dr. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit. And I remember reading that the first time, and I remember reading it, not audio, and now I'm audiobooking it, and I'm like, oh my gosh. He just breaks it down why we are the way we are. We are legitimately chasing something that will fulfill us. And he said that's exactly what he was chasing. We are chasing something at all times because we think, and obviously this goes also to Michael A. Singer. Highly recommend both of his books, Untethered Soul and whatever the other one is. I know Chris is going to put it in the thing. I'm all about the audiobooks. Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, you might be dyslexic too, but who cares? How many mentors do you have? Or, listen, there's not a lot of mentors in New York City that I have right now, because I look at them and I'm like, I had two. I had, not like they died. I had two. They're both very successful. One guy, he has a ton of money, but the surrender experiment. Thank you, Chris. The thing is, the one guy I'm thinking of, he has terrible health. The text on his phone, I shit you not, is almost an inch tall. Each letter is an inch tall. And I'm like, I almost said his name, but I'm like, why? He's like, oh, my eyes are going. But the guy has a ton of money. He went through a divorce. So the way that I see it now is that in-person mentoring is good if it's for your job. But if it's not, I look at it all online. I feel my need to be the best person I can. Is anyone in the chat trying to grow a channel or subscribe to bring things as similar to Charles? I don't, actually, Chris mentioned someone that was very similar. There's not a lot of people that are doing what I'm doing. Not saying like I'm like this special little snowflake or angel, but there's people that are either selling their stuff. I have nothing to sell. Or they are more business related or financial related or sales related. All the people that and I literally crush YouTube videos like it's my job, and it might be my job. I don't know, but I want to live to the best version of myself. I got to tell you, the last 4 months, and you will get to this point. So for the average person, first of all, don't consider yourself average. That was actually a Donald Trump video from like 10 years ago before everyone started hating him. But don't consider yourself average. But I can tell you right now, the hockey stick growth video that I said is so true. It is frightening. You're going to reach a point where you just start seeing things. You're going to see it live in conversations with people that people you used to look up to, like this guy who raised $1 billion for a company and he's super wealthy, this mentor guy I was just talking about. And then just like it clicked. I said, you know what? That's great. I want his money, but I kind of don't want his health. And then this other guy, he's cheating on his wife. Excuse me, I had some kombucha, so it's going to be the bubbly flavor. That's the thing, is that take little pieces, look at Charles and be like, you know what? I kind of don't like this about Charles. I really like this about Charles. That's the thing, is do you embrace the quirkiness. That is the entire video, and you're gonna see it. I know I've been mentioning it before, but finally I'm okay with putting it out public, because I always used to want to be someone else's. There's so much coming out right now, which is amazing. Thank you. I always wanted to live into the image of someone else. It was typically my mom, because she was tough. My dad didn't give a shit. I would like to invite a multi-channel collaboration I'm making. All right, cool. Send me an invite. I'm down. I'm game. Yeah, the philosophy is actually if you reverse engineer it to be your legacy. What is your legacy? What do you want to leave? That's literally on my mind multiple times a day. Is what do I want to leave? What is like building a business? All right, cool. You're gonna die. The business may go with you, or it continues, or whatever. For me, I noticed that the legacy I want to live, and Jeff Bezos just came out with this. He was interviewed by Business Insider, and he said the legacy he wants to leave is multi-planetary, obviously. And he started going into a very deep conversation, which is, in 1,000 years, when there are millions and billions of people, he said he would love planet Earth just to be residential, and everything else is out in space. All the energy, all the food, all the whatever, and then you live, or it's more of a vacation home. How crazy is that, when we're all long and gone, and then people are just zipping around like the Jetsons? And that's a legacy. Elon Musk leaving his legacy. All these guys, they're leaving their legacy. And you think about it, do you want to leave your legacy or not? I don't really care. It's completely up to you. And then what do you want to leave? I don't know. It could be blog posts, as Seth Godin. Don't know if you met the right business. How do you know if you met the right business partner? Business partners are really tough, man. That's up to you. I don't recommend it. Some people would obviously differ. The reason I don't recommend business partners is because I love the legacy. Yeah, exactly. Gary Vee actually is the first one that has brought up legacy. And then from there, I just riffed on it. And I said, okay, if I was Gary and so he's leaving information, he's leaving the journey to the top. He's literally like the Jesus or the sacrificial lamb. He's kind of like, this is how I did it. And if you want to follow me, here's all the steps that I took. He's not really a practical guy. That's the problem. That's what I don't like about it. But you can if you're really intelligent, just get snippets of what he's doing and be like, oh, okay, I think the space thing is useless at this time. Make planet fully inhabitable first. Earth is pretty close to fully inhabitable. How do you get mentors? Listen, I think your mentors should be books, should be YouTube videos. In person, if you're at a job, you just literally go up. I'll tell you how I got mine. So I was at a small firm downtown in real estate. Then I said, okay, I need to level up. So I went to a large firm, Halstead Property. They just did a rebranding, and they think the rebranding. This is the thing. All right, I can't wait till the platform and the questions start like really upping it. So Halstead Property is a real estate firm here in New York City. They have 1,000 agents. They've done a ton of business. I think they're the fifth or sixth most successful one, maybe fourth. But this is the thing, is that they noticed that their sales were going down, and I've been calling that out for a while, and that's why I left 4 years ago. And yeah, we got to see solving problems. We are doing it slowly. If you really truly want to look at it, we are slowly. We are a lot healthier. We're living a lot longer. It is a lot safer. Our healthcare is incredible. Any thoughts on spending money on entertainment? I am vehemently against entertainment. I'm gonna have an Instagram post about that. You're one of two people. That's really what I've put it into this category. And then within each category, it kind of subdivides. But we'll start with this: is that you either like entertainment or you like to learn. That's it. There is no in between. And the people that like entertainment, and there's nothing wrong with it, the people that like entertainment, and it could be any way, it could be TV, it could be social media, it could be going to ball games, it could be movies, it doesn't really matter. What I'm saying is their main outlet, the main thing they're looking for. And I've talked about it. I'm on the dating apps, and every single female profile has a place that they are either going to, they are booking, or they're coming back from. That's escapism. Why? Because they don't want to be where they are. That's really what it comes down to. And then you have the other end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum are the people that are coachable, they're learnable, they are getting better, they read. It's a very small minority. I don't spend any money on entertainment at all. Why? Because it's kind of like an alcoholic doesn't go to a bar. It's really what it comes down to. Because an alcoholic, if he goes to the bar, he's going to have a drink. And the reason I don't have a TV is because that's all I do is watch TV. The reason I don't have a computer in my apartment is because that's all I would do. I have my laptop with me now because I'm going to do work, but it goes right back to work. I literally just cut off the threads that could lead to unproductive work. Have your escapism. Yes, my escapism is learning, to be honest. When people say, oh, you work too hard or you should go away or anything, what about eating out? Do you consider that entertainment? I don't know. That's a good question. I think that's a good question. I would say I wouldn't say that's entertainment because it's costing you money and there's other people and, I guess that could go with a lot of things like drinking and like right now it's the Kentucky Derby. It could be happening right now. I don't give a shit because I know there's going to be another one next year. And what's the other one? Cinco de Mayo. I know there's going to be another one next year. I know there's going to be another movie. There's always another season. I'm not a fan of fiction. Do you? If you like fiction, read fiction. Get something out of the fiction. My niece is obsessed with fiction. She's 8. And I can tell you right now, that fiction is a world she's creating because I think that she wants to live in this world. So she's creating it through writing. You have some very successful writers out there. As long as you read, do you start self-improvement because of inspiration or desperation? Desperation by far. There was no inspiration. Charles was an unhealthy, fat asshole at 22. I wasn't fat. Certain books like The Alchemist are good. Yeah, listen, I would say if they tell a story, but that's the thing is that reading is still good. Reading is still good. You get education. The neuroplasticity in your mind, the myelin that goes around your brain is, anything new that you learn is amazing. That there's so many studies about dementia, Alzheimer's. People that are aging, they need to play chess or do crossword puzzles or travel or brush their teeth with the opposite hand, do small things. Because whatever fires together, wires together. And if you keep on firing, your brain gets used to it. And then it literally stops firing after a while. I can't express this enough. The book that I'm reading, How Are You Supposed to Be Friends with the Modern World? Couldn't you use entertainment as material to become friends with people? Yeah, I would say I use social media to connect with like-minded people, like you guys. Like where in the freaking New York City would I be able to walk into a bar and be like, does anyone wake up at 4:30 or 4, whatever I did today, 4:15, and go on a 50-mile ride before 9 a.m. And then once they get back, they have oatmeal that's gluten-free and goes to work, does half a day of work because he's a little bit tired, his legs are sore, and then tomorrow No one in the ball. I would get booed. I would get booed. Are you kidding me? But that's the thing is that when I was on my bike path, at what time did I start? Like 5. And I passed this girl and I'm like, that's the type of person that I like. 5 a.m. She's out there. She's running. She seemed attractive. We looked at each other. Could I have approached her? Yeah, but it's also 5 a.m. on the bike path. You know, she could have like maced me or whatever. Isn't all oatmeal gluten free? I don't know. It was weird because it says it on the jar. And I was like, I thought the same thing. And then I was like, all right, well, I guess so. If you're touting it, then I guess so. But I wasn't thinking, how do you get people into self-development? You can't. I parted ways, I don't know if I mentioned it. I may have mentioned it. I parted ways with the one guy that he was one of the OGs that started with us at BPI because he wasn't coachable. You wouldn't mind getting booed because you don't care. Well, listen, there's a point, let's be honest. I parted ways with Adam, who is in real estate. And the reason being is that, I think it was a long time coming. And the reason that we parted ways is that you have to be coachable. You have to be able to learn. And the only way to be able to learn is know that there is improvement, that there is room for improvement. Most people, they don't want to show that there's any room for improvement. That's why I think Gary is so successful at connecting with people, because he says, this is my lane. I don't know anything about cryptocurrency. I don't talk about any political bullshit. That's why I don't follow anything political. Like, people are talking about Kanye West and whatever. Awesome. Okay, cool. That doesn't affect anything. And in 6 months, he's still going to be here. We're going to talk about something else. Maybe there's something else. What I'm saying is that your escapism, just as mine was when I was 22, was trying to fill something. Then it was an insecurity. Now it's a need. So my need now is to fulfill the legacy that I want to have 8 billion people think that self-development is cool and or at least acceptable. At one time, gay marriage was not acceptable. At one time, women voting was not acceptable. Like masses did not like it. And then over time, people are like, okay, actually, this is good. This is a good thing to have. And it's the exact same thing with self-development, trying to cut down. Sports is tough because it was the same thing with me, is that only until I actually got rid of the TV did I just start saying, oh, okay, yeah, no, I was obsessed. I still play sports. I still play hockey. Obviously CrossFit at the gym, and then I go biking, and then, I still have my arm. So when someone's like, hey, listen, we need you for the softball team. Escapism, I would say, how do you know what real estate to buy? Oh my God. Holy cow. Open-ended questions, man. I went buy real estate, and I'm saying that if you are not working with someone that knows, do not buy real estate because you will get shafted. And I haven't seen it in New York City because our real estate goes up ridiculous amounts, and it's a long-term hold. But if you're buying to buy anything, I used to be obsessed. Okay, I'll get into it really quick and then I'll let you guys go. So I grew up, holding this camera or my phone for 34 minutes. So when I grew up middle class. I would say middle class because that's like a slap in my parents' face. First trip was 12 years old. My second trip when I was on a plane. I didn't fly a plane until I was 12. Be a passenger. The second one when I was 18, and the third one was like 24 or something. And then I didn't have a cell phone. It's not like, oh, let's cry about Charles. I still lived in America, and I still had water and food and everything else. The reason I say that is because all of my friends growing up had money. Not all of them, but they were well off. I went to a high school that had money, and they all had cars. I never owned a car in my life. They all had cars, and they were bought cars and beautiful cars and blah, blah, blah. And I needed to fill a need when I came out of college, when I started making money, that I was worth it because I never had that when I was younger. So then I went to the Tony Robbins event and he started saying it and everything else. I didn't really believe him at the time because that was 2009. I graduated in 2007. So I was like, all right, whatever. Then over time, I was like, holy shit, I am buying all of this trash to fill the need of the acceptance, to finally feel accepted of when I was, 13 to 18 years old. I was trying to fill a need. I was trying to fill an insecurity that I still had at 24, 25. And by the way, there are people that take that to their fucking grave. To their grave. There's this woman who's in real estate on the Upper West Side, and she still overspends. There's one of my clients, she still overspends. 45 years old, still over. I'm seeing a connection between poor childhood and this is the thing, is that it's not a poor childhood. It's the connection of, okay, bodybuilders on average are shorter than other people, not like society. They're shorter than other people because mainly bodybuilders were picked on. Okay. Usually the people that are the most successful now are the ones that are first generation immigrant, which is not, they didn't have money, or they're first time millionaires. In other words, their parents weren't millionaires because they were filling the need of what they didn't have. You know, people that are public speakers were super nervous in high school. Where's the stigma towards people who are in sales? Yeah, I would say actually necessary is, I embrace, excuse me, I embrace sales. I used to not. I love it now because I'm good at it. You know, it takes time. You have to be so adaptable, real time in a conversation. Be like, what I'm saying is not working. You know, there's so many different personality types. Most people don't come across shed hums or information and change in their program. 100%. And that's why they want the cliff notes. That's why they want the Instagram post by Charles or the trailer to anything, because it gives them the room to say, I didn't read this whole thing because if I did, then I might need to change. You know, what are the best businesses at low amounts of money? There's no businesses with low amounts of money. You know, today there are too many intelligent people and it is too competitive. It's always been this way, by the way. It's always been competitive throughout all of history. Anyone that says, well, there's more competition now, there's always been competition. It's always been relative to the amount of either dollars in sports if you're becoming a professional athlete, or houses if you're a real estate agent. Of course, there wasn't a need to have 33,000 real estate agents because there weren't 8.5 million people in New York City. That's why they try and compensate. Yeah, this is the thing. I always said they as well. It was me. I was the one that was compensating for a need or a lack or a hole that I was trying to fill. You have to go back into your childhood and really, really spend time and say, who was I? Was I the nerd? Was I the partier? Was I the guy that people made fun of? Was I the person that had money? Who was I in high school? Because from there is almost a direct correlation to the opposite to who you are now. Public speakers, all of them start out and they say, if you told me I was going to be a public speaker, I would have punched you in the head because I was the most. You hear that from everyone. You know, Les Brown, Grant Cardone, all these guys, they all, Darren Hardy, all the public speakers, the best public speakers, not the inauthentic ones that are selling you trash on the stage, but the ones that are actually very good always have that backstory of I was shy in class or something like that, along those lines. Why do you think there's 7 billion people in the world, but why are there a handful who are? It's a really good question. That's something to think about. Why is there the 80-20 rule? Actually, the most successful is probably 90-10. Why is Pareto's principle? I would love to know the real math. 80% of the crops or 20% of the crops yield 80% of the harvest. It's anything. 20% of the agents in New York City do 80% of the business. Why is that? Why, there's probably the law of success, success begets success. But why the Pareto's principle? Why does it work? And that's the thing is people want equality. There is no such thing as equality. There's no such thing as equality. Your cells are always growing and dying. One ear is a little bit better than the other. You could throw better with one hand over the other hand. You could kick better with one leg over the other leg. One person is always going to be better at basketball or football or baseball or smarter or richer or whatever. There is no way to get to equality. Quality of outcome, I should say, not equality. You should give everyone the equal opportunity, and then just let the results be. Because I can't have people. A perfect example is public speaking for Have you spoken to? No, I haven't. That's actually on my goal for this year, because it's I would say it's a long time coming. Not a long time coming. That's a stupid thing to say. But I would say only until now have I embraced the message, but I don't even know where I would fit in. Like where would, I don't know. And that's the thing is, I would have to actually go and talk to a bunch of people and see how they actually started. I know my phone is about to die, so I'm going to let you guys go. Yeah, we're on 3%. So let you guys go. Explain to me the 80-20 rule, read about it, eat that frog, but didn't really get it. So in other words, 20% of anything will yield you 80% of the results. So if you work out all day, all right, 20% of the workout will yield you 80% of the results. So in other words, bench pressing, or find a local conference, and do some motivation. I don't know if I want to go down the motivational route, to be honest. I would probably want to go down the practical use lifestyle route, kind of the Gary with Grant, and then obviously Brian Cristiano. I don't know if you know. Listen, these are so open-ended, a lot of these questions. But, all right, I'm going to go on Monday. I forgot what we're going to be talking about, but tomorrow I have probably one of the bigger open houses that we're going to be doing, and it's supposed to pour in New York City, so this is going to be fun. The owners, both of them, are entrusting me on their nest egg. Excuse me, the kombucha really comes up. They're entrusting me with their nest egg, so this is going to be fun. And I know I'm going to sell it, but then you have Mother's Day, and then you have a free week, and then it's going to be Memorial Day, and then obviously it's June. What time do you live stream each day? It's going to be in the morning. I was actually playing around with that, because later in the day, I know a lot more people have a lot more time, and to be honest, in the morning, I really need to get my shit done. Or do you talk to Connection, Health, and Success? Health is everything. I swear to anything, I would instill health. There's no shortage of it. So it's really getting your why on why it's important. That's the biggest thing. Everyone knows what they need to do. They know they need to go to the gym. They know they need to eat healthy. And there's no shortage of coaches. There's no shortage of blogs. There's no shortage of books. There's no shortage of information on health. My thinking, because these kids came onto the subway today, and they all played baseball, and they were big. They were all big. They were all fat. They were all fat. There's 12 of them. And I was like, holy cow. I was never that big. I didn't know anyone that big, and if they were that big, they got picked on. Am I saying that's right? No, but they got picked on because they were fat. And then I looked at all these kids, and I'm like, holy shit, there's 12 of them. And then I started thinking, is it them? Is it the parents? Is it society? Because I don't think it's them. Because all I wanted to do was eat sugar too. But I had a bike to get my sugar when I was 8 or 7, So I look at the kids and I'm like, man, there is going to be an epidemic on obesity that is just going to skyrocket, because the kids coming up now, it's so easy for them to get access to this food. It's so cheap, and they could just shove all of that into their face and then just not even care, because nothing is going to happen. That's the thing is, if I walk into the middle of a street, I'm going to get hit by a car. If I eat a bag of chips, nothing is going to happen. I eat 20 bags of chips, nothing is going to happen. What I'm saying is that there's no immediate consequence. So the why for me is the energy. And I also know that if I don't go down the health path now, I'm fucked when I'm older. And I also want to look good when I'm older. I want to have people be like, oh my God, you're 50? There's a program on TV here and they're giving, it's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting, to be honest. Kentucky Derby already happened, but enjoy. I'll see you guys on Monday. Enjoy your weekend.